Hi, I'm Colin Sullivan.
And I'm Carly Latcham.
And this is Almost Live, a weekly show designed to give you the who's who and what's what of Telluride in Mountain Village.
In today's episode, we're going to sit down with Susan Kelly and Ashley Bradley from the Bow Wow Film Festival. We're also going to sit down with Sally Davis and Kim Epifano from Mud Butts Mystery Theater. And we're going to have a very special guest in the studio to do a live performance, Alex Paul from Birds of Play.
Patrick Legans, our own wine geek food freak, is going to whip up a pollo a la kasha for us. We're going to do a little yoga with Barbara, and then we're going to have a brand new episode of Thank Ghost It's Monday.
We'll head over to the Telluride Historical Museum for a Miner's Minute, and we'll also have a retro ride flashback for some Telluride history. For now, let's head over to Colin and Catherine for the Warren Commission.
Thanks a lot, Carly. And here we are. It's summer. We're in the thick of summer.
Yeah.
We have an exciting Warren Commission for you.
Yeah, we're about halfway through Survive July.
Survive July. Hashtag Survive July.
Yeah. There's so much happening this week.
Look at your little blue book.
I know. I went through the old book, and we're upgrading to a new color.
That's how you know, folks. That's how you know that there's a lot going on here, is that Catherine went through a whole book in one season.
And I never finish Moleskine notebooks, ever. Okay, Thursday night, we've got Telluride Americana Fest. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those shows are 8 p.m. each night at the Sheridan Opera House. They start exactly on time, because it's a promoter from Texas, and we're not on Telluride time here. So be sure to be there by 8, and tickets and more information are online at SheridanOperaHouse.com. The artists include Bonnie Bishop, Jeff Plankenhorn, a fabulous guitarist who's been through the area a bunch, John Fulbright, and all sorts of other Americana, country, rock, in that vein of music. It's such a great festival.
Hats that have gallons associated with them. 5 gallons, 10 gallons,
yes. Also on Thursday night is karaoke at the Liberty. Always a good time. And then Friday night is where things really pick up. Okay, where to start? Carolyn Sills Combo Band plays at Reflection Plaza as part of the Music on the Green. That's from 5 to 7. That's free. It's adjacent to Hotel Madeline. Lovely way to wrap up your weekend with some music, get some drinks or snacks from Bar M, and enjoy the show. Also, Kelowna, a local band, plays at 6 p.m. at the Phoenix Bean. And then the AHA's annual art auction, the big affair for them, their big fundraiser, that starts at 6 p.m. and that is right outside the AHA on Townsend.
Yep.
Is that the road there?
Yeah, South Townsend Street. Essentially, if you know where the AHA school is, just go right down there. You'll see the giant white tent.
Yeah, it is such a fabulous event, such a good cause. Last year, I went there and got some CBD lotion and supported a good cause at the same time. So
if
you never know what you'll get from the silent auction or the live auction.
From the live auction, you get a Land Rover with a tent on top of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, a little bit out of my budget. So
out of our budget slightly, but I'm sure,
Also, DJ Castle plays at the Liberty on Friday night. And then Saturday and Sunday are the big days for the Telluride Art and Architecture Weekend. There are home tours. We don't have enough time to go into the full description of the event, but it is for anyone who's an art or architecture or fine food fanatic. Be sure to check this out. You do the home tours on Saturday in Telluride, and there's home tours in Mountain Village.
Sells out every year, actually.
Yeah, and you can find out more online at TellurideArtandArchitecture.com. Also on Saturday, a little show by the name of The Tempest from Telluride Theater. You guys open on Saturday and then run through the next weekend.
Yeah, we run through the next Sunday.
Okay,
the next Sunday.
Is The Tempest set, can you give us a little teaser? Where is it set? What should we expect?
The Tempest is a really fantastic play that we wanted to do for a while and didn't have the wherewithal to really do. It's the last play that Shakespeare wrote by himself.
Okay.
And it really is sort of a beautiful, perfect play. It's an incredibly quick, incredibly tight play. It runs only about an hour and 30 minutes.
My favorite type of Shakespeare.
There you go. So it runs on the Town Park stage. So you sit up on the Town Park stage. There are 100 seats a night. One night is already sold out. So if you go on TellurideTheater.org, you just go on TellurideTheater.org and click on the little Tempest thing or click on the ticketing link and you can get tickets to it. It's usually the run sells out.
Yeah. So it starts this Saturday, runs through next week, and then it's dark on Wednesday the 24th.
Yes.
And there's a matinee on Sunday.
Yes, there's a matinee on Sunday. So
The other shows start at 8 p.m.
yeah, so the 20th is a so all the shows start at 8 p.m. and then on the 20th is a matinee at 2 p.m. and that's the locals night as well, or excuse me, the locals day I should say. There's magic and monsters and mayhem and all sorts of stuff and clowns and
And with any luck, the July monsoon season will add an extra element
That's right.
to the Tempest theme.
That's right. We
with
actually have
potential storms.
That's right. We have some sound design of storms, which I may or may not use in the show, depending on
We'll
whether or not
see.
there are storms.
So you directed the show. Are you also acting in it as well, or
No,
just directing?
that's kind of almost impossible.
Okay.
So, but I have an incredible cast of folks, and it's an amazing play. And if you've never seen it, absolutely come and see it. And if you'd like to see our super amazing weird version of it, then come on out.
I was in the Tempest in 5th grade, so I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see your version of it.
Sure.
Compare it to that one.
Yeah,
from
I
back
think.
in the
Well, I think
day.
you should. Yeah, do a review on here next week.
Also, this weekend on Sunday, Bow Wow Festival takes place. The Bow Wow Film Festival takes place at the Sheridan Opera House. But I understand the organizers of that will be on the show later, so they can go
right.
into more detail. And then looking into next week, there's a fabulous artist at the Sunset Concert Series. His name is John Cleary, and the Absolute Monster Gentleman. So with a name like that for the band, you know it's going to be fun.
That's great.
And he's just a mainstay in the New Orleans R&B scene. If you like Dr. John, you'll love John Cleary if you're not familiar with him.
And that's on Wednesday next
That's
week?
next Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. free in Mountain Village.
Kathleen, that's a lot of stuff going on. If we wanted
is.
to read about anything, let's just say like an artist, a local artist, maybe a young artist coming into town, somebody that we haven't known about before, where would we read about that?
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen this week, but you could
Yeah,
pick up my
probably
column.
not this week.
It's in the Telluride Watch out each Thursday.
And it's called?
The Warren Commission.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah. So pick up the watch. I also do the beat sheet for the watch, which has a lot more local music going on. We just don't have enough time to go over it all in this space.
You guys, get out there and read. Catherine, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for having me, Colin.
Let's head over. Our own wine geek food freak, Mr. Patrick Gagans, has a pollo a la cascia for us. Take it away, Patrick.
Hi, I'm Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak. Today we're going to do a dish called pollo a la quesha. We start off with a beautiful piece of chicken. I got it at Clark's Market, our local market. I take the chicken, I like to pound the chicken out, tenderize it a little bit. Fairly aggressive. You know, I'm not trying to break it or anything, but I'm definitely putting my influence on it, that's for sure. Start with a little butter. I'm going to blend the butter for a second. I'm going to add my onions and my mushrooms. Also, on a dish like this, when you're going to cook onions and mushrooms, then you have more vegetables, you have chicken to cook. The butter's lifespan usually doesn't last as long as the rest of the dish. So you can always add a little extra virgin olive oil in my case. The oil has a higher burn threshold, so it just extends the life of the fat, whatever you cook. All right, now my onions and mushrooms are to the point where I'm gonna add my chicken. And if you just put a little flour on it, that stock will be so thick at the end. It's amazing. I like to start mine face down. I like to create a little space. Okay, so now I've cooked the top side of the chicken breast. Look at that. Oh, it's perfect. You want a little browning, but not much more than that. At this point, I can add my artichoke hearts and my roasted red peppers. So now, the underside of the chicken is also perfectly done. I'll take my ladle. I made some chicken stock earlier, just a classic mirepoix chicken bones. I'm gonna add that to my dish, and I'm just gonna reduce from here. So all I've been doing is flipping the chicken every once in a while. I've added a ladle or two of stock in there, just while I'm getting the chicken to be finished cooking. It's just now done. Take my chicken breast. I can put it just off center. I'm gonna add some penne pasta that I just finished cooking. Toss that for a second. I'll take a little bit more of my rosemary. I'll take my pasta, and I like to pour just a little bit of the sauce on the plate. Decorate it with my rosemary from the garden. Voila. Until next time, remember all you need is good ingredients, some care, and a minute of your time, and you can eat like me, Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak.
Hello and welcome to today's yoga session at Telluride TV. Today we'll be looking at a posture called Prasarita Padottanasana. It has 4 different versions, A, B, C, D, and we'll be doing them one after the other. Alright, so step your feet apart. Keep your heels wider than your toes, so you're going to be pigeon-toed. So the thighs are inwardly rotated. Place your hands on your hips and inhale, lengthen, look up. On your exhale, fold forward. And then release your hands somewhere in the vicinity of in between your legs. If you don't have a lot of hamstring flexibility, you can come up onto your fingertips, or you can use a block. If you can reach down, great. Palms flat on the floor. Inhale, lengthen, look up once more, and with strong legs, exhale, fold down and place your head between your feet. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Lift the arches of your feet. Breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale. Extend your spine, look up. Exhale, place your hands on your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, do a tiny little shoulder roll. Moving right into B. Inhale, reach your arms to the side. Exhale, place your hands on your hips. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold. If you can reach your head between your feet, great. If not, place it on a block. 1, 2. Squeeze your elbows towards one another. 3, 4, and 5. Then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, little shoulder roll. Moving right along into C. Inhale, reach your arms to the side. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, lengthen once more and look up, and with strong legs, exhale, fold forward. Allow your head to dangle, or place it in between your feet again. Now, on your next inhale, squeeze your interlaced hands away from your back. On the exhale, let it roll down. Let gravity do the work here for you. So inhale, lengthen, exhale. 5 breaths. Inhale, lengthen, exhale. 3, 4, and 5. On your next inhale, with strong legs, come all the way up. Place your hands on the hips and exhale. Last one, D. Keep your hands on your hips. Inhale, look up. Exhale, pivot forward from the hips. Grab your big toes with your first 3 fingers. Index and thumb are touching. Inhale, look up, lengthen your spine. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, extend and look up. Exhale, hands to your hips, strong legs. Inhale, come up. Exhale, do a shoulder roll. And then step your feet slowly together. Walk them out a little bit. And take a few breaths, just standing equally on your mat. Thank you so much. This was Prasarita Padottanasana ABCD. See you soon. Namaste.
Thanks, Barbara. That was a great episode of Yoga with Barbara. And we are back in the studio with Susan and Ashley. You're from Second Chance, and you're with the Bow Wow Film Festival.
Correct.
Welcome.
Thank
so great
you.
to have you.
Yes, thank
So
you.
I'd love to start off with finding out a little bit more about the Bow Wow Film Festival. So when did it start? Tell me about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I had lived in Telluride for several years and had, loved the film community. Then I had moved to the Front Range and kind of wanted to bring a little bit of what I loved about Telluride into my world in the Front Range, and so I started this dog-themed film festival because I wanted to be a part of supporting animal welfare organizations. So it's a collection of dog-themed short films all heartwarming, all fun-loving, all really delightful films, and we play them in all across the country.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how did Second Chance become involved with Bow Wow?
Well, this is actually our 5th year, being, I guess you'd say, a benefactor of Susan's generosity and having started this as a means of raising funds and awareness for animal rescue organizations. So we're super excited that we're having the premiere for the 2019-2020, gosh, I can't even believe that, group of films. And yeah, we're very excited about it for this coming Sunday.
That's very exciting. We do have a special trailer that we'll show everybody, but I want to know a little bit more about what you guys are most excited about for the choice of films this year.
Oh yes, it gets more and more difficult every year. This year we had 100 films submitted that were
Wow.
that were all different kinds of stories about how people love their dogs and how special that bond is and how that relationship, sort of plays out in everyone's lives. So we've chosen, I think we've got 15 films, and we have some really beautiful films we have a fantastic film about a fellow who lost everything in the recession, his fiance, his house, his job. He adopted a shelter pup and how that totally transformed his life. We have a fantastic mountain biking movie that was filmed in France. It's just really beautiful. And then we have a great story about a woman and her deaf dog. So just all really just moving, loving films.
Bring Kleenex, it sounds like. I know from personal experience in years past, there's rarely a dry eye in the place at some point during
We've tried
the
to tone that down a little bit. Yeah. And we went a little deep sometimes, and we've tried to bring it back this year.
Well, it's good though. There's an emotional component for everybody. I mean, animals are part of the family, and that's what your film festival, I think, really eloquently portrays. So
Yeah, and that is one of the goals, to inspire people to adopt dogs through Second Chance. But are there any other benefactors that get benefits from the film festival?
Oh, absolutely. We tour across the U.S., and so last year I think we did 30 shows. So we work with animal welfare organizations kind of across the spectrum. We work with a pet food pantry in Denver. We work with low-cost spay and neuter clinics. We work with service dog organizations, just any organization that sort of wants to celebrate that human-canine bond is sort of our mission. We can team up with and put a great show on.
And so the show is on Sunday. Are there any other details? Where can we get tickets? Where can we find out more information?
yeah, so the event, Bow Wow Film Fest, is this coming Sunday. That's the 21st of July. And it's at the Sheridan Opera House downtown. So we've got a great central location in town. Starts at 5 p.m. From 5 to 5:30, we're doing a free drink for that first half an hour. We have a special Hair of the Dog drink that we're going to be featuring to encourage bidding. And Imano is going to be doing some great food. We'll have from about 5 to 6:30 some fun silent auction items, cocktails, food. Then we'll do just a brief little live auction and then go into the films. And so it'll be about 5 to 9-ish will be kind of the time frame for the evening.
And you can't bring your dogs to the Opera House, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately, but we may have a couple special guest doggy appearances there, possibly. And in regards to tickets, tickets are available at the door and at a slightly discounted rate with a advance purchase either online on our Second Chance website or at our thrift store.
Great information, and thank you so much for what you're doing for the dog community of Telluride and around the country. It's great having you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
We're going to head over to a trailer for the Bow Wow Film Festival this year. Let's see it.
Life is chaotic. We are constantly surrounded and interrupted by apps, phones, and technology that is supposed to make our lives easy. It's a constant stream of dings, rings, and buzzes. bank accounts, bills, payments, telemarketing, credit cards, all looking for your attention. But if you stop, look around, you'll notice that relief has 4 legs, is full of love and devotion, and is looking at you right now. Break away and get out with your best friend.
Yeah, I get up, and I may fall right back down, but your love lifts me back to solid ground. You love it. Yeah, I get up, and I may fall right back down, but your love lifts me back to solid ground.
The Bow Wow Film Festival is coming to a theater near you. Check website for details.
I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou nailed it when she said that. Got to make people feel good about not only themselves, but their situation.
To me, that brings up a feeling of how much impact we have as individuals when we interact with anyone and everyone. So everyone deserves respect, everybody deserves kindness, and everybody deserves to be treated the same way that you deserve and would like to be treated.
It just proves that people don't forget about you if you do something simple to make their day.
Well, I think it's taken me 60 years to learn that those first 2 things are important along the way. But how you treat people, whether you kind of empower them, whether you make them bigger or smaller makes a big difference, and a lot less about what you say, what you do.
Yeah, it's true. It's all about how you feel and make others feel. It's what this life is.
And that was another episode of Thank Ghost It's Monday. I'm here with Sally and Kim, the original Mudbutts.
Ow! Yippee!
Now, for those of you who don't know, it's 33. We were doing math off camera, so it's rough. But
Not my specialty.
33 years of of really high quality, creative. I don't even know entirely how to describe it. Explorative children's theater. It's you two, and then Mike Stasek, who is a puppeteer and makes these giant sort of paper mache puppets.
He's a sculptor.
A sculptor.
I mean, I wouldn't call him a puppeteer,
That's
but
right.
he makes puppets, he makes masks, he also makes
mache magic.
sculpture.
He's a sculptor, and then you guys just pull him into the gutter and make him do
pull him into the paper mache gutter.
The paper mache gutter.
And he's a master.
That's right. And it really is this stuff that you're doing. It's kind of like I would describe, if anybody knows like Bread and Puppet or those kind of things. So you have these kind of big paper mache things that are part of the show, and then the shows are all original, right?
Well, I think we make them original. We adapt stories. Sometimes we draw it fully out of the kids. Sometimes we take a story and we adapt it.
In the early days, when we were young tykes.
Yeah, when you were tykes.
We started from scratch. Staying up all night was easy then. And a lot of the material just came from brainstorming and improvisation. And we'd actually write the script as we worked with the kids. And now we've evolved to the point where we prepare more in advance and then still do the improv and the exploration with the kids. So whatever we come up with, they get a big layer of their ideas.
And then you layer in
on it.
Music too.
Yes.
Live music is always part, and dance.
Yep.
Because you are a dancer.
Yes.
Well, I do dance, theater, music.
Yep.
So Sally and I direct the show together, and we both, I think that's why we've been a magnet, because we both like to dip into all of the disciplines. And that's what we like to sort of infuse the young performers with. It's the performer that we're interested in, and taking all those performers on a ride together. So we're collaborative with those young performers. It's not like kids and us. And I think that's what has kept me interested all these years, is those young, incredible performers.
And you do this work too. You do this work in San Francisco as well, with dance theater and those kind of things.
I have Epiphany Dance Theater in San Francisco for 22 years.
That's amazing.
Double numbers.
Double numbers.
It's difficult to explain. I mean, I myself am an artist, and I do some work with Telluride Theater, and I have to say it's difficult to explain to the outside world or people who might see theater but not necessarily make it how much of an accomplishment it is to do decades. Decades in the theater, much less multiple decades. You
Well,
know?
I have to say, a lot of what keeps drawing us back in, I mean, we love the work and the creative energy, but is the community that's been formed, the kids and then their siblings, and we've now had children of some of the original Mudbutts in our company. And
we have Wendy Brooks' grandchildren.
Yeah, so we
in
have
our
two of her
program.
grandchildren this year.
Wendy Brooks being the founder of the Academy.
Yeah,
Right.
and Wendy is really a visionary, and she's the one who said yes to this kooky idea 33 years ago, and then she added to it, I think 10 years into it or something, the idea of the Mudbutt international trips to do theater abroad with other kids in
Yeah, so talk to
other
me about
places.
those, because what you're doing right now in Telluride is creating this big, interactive, beautiful show, which I'll ask you about in just a second for this year. But you also take these guys internationally, and you go all over the globe, and you usually are doing work that is in the language of wherever you've gone, in the native
It's
language.
in two languages.
In
Because
two
quite
languages,
often,
okay.
quite often, wherever we go, they want their kids to get some English skills. So we double cast, which is a beast.
Crazy.
When we can, not every single part. We work with translators depending on where we are. Some places it's harder than others because the translator doesn't show up, or, you know, there's a flood, or a
Or where are we
just all
working?
that sort of lost in translation stuff that happens when you're doing international travel. But
It's super
back to what I
rewarding.
was saying is just the friendships that have been made with not just kids and kids abroad, and our kids, but in Telluride and the families that come in. It's like it's turned into this giant family. We've gotten to know parents. We've gotten to know
grandparents,
it's
parents,
just
kids that have
such
kids.
a gift.
Well, I think when I was starting as a young theater lad, I went to school, right, and then I went to New York shortly after, and I remember being in New York. And it's not to say you can't find this in a larger city, but a lot of it is about the commerce of what you're gonna, I was an actor and those kind of things. And I remember very distinctly because I had had a couple of apprenticeships in these theaters that had companies, and I remember very distinctly being in New York and doing a show with a couple of the folks from that company, and it was very family oriented, and we sort of created this thing and this story, and then we ended up going out of the city even to do it up in Poughkeepsie in this like old church, and all the townspeople and the college kids came, and I remember thinking, oh, this is what I want to do.
The
So
smaller
so I think that there's something to the art, right, that where it creates that kind of family.
Yes.
And Telluride's unique. It's not just a small town where there's not coming and going. So here we get a mixture of local kids and kids from other places, and then it just starts, it's like a weaving, and then you add the international thing, and it just becomes a real mixed up, interesting group of people.
And we've really seen for 33 years how town has changed.
Yes.
And then who has stuck around here that we still know, and then who has come in that's become a part of the community, and then how are we sort of this constant, that sort of the locals can hold on to in some way. Like I feel like this year we have more local students. It's sort of recreating itself over and over again.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Well, we've had great people work with us, including you.
Yes, I was a
And-
mud for a couple of years.
But we've had collaborators. John Fago was with us for like the first 10 years, and then Mike came into it sort of 3 years in. We've worked with all different kinds of visiting
Pamela
artists.
Lipton-Zoline
Yeah, we're
helped
going to
us
forget
write
to mention
scripts.
somebody, but Clay Froman has been working with us now for quite a while. Pam Zoline has been a steady collaborator all these years. And she and John Fago, sort of at the beginnings, brought in a lot of world issues and characters that we'd throw at the kids. And so there was all this learning going on in the process of finding what our story was. And so that's been exciting. It's actually given us a platform to talk about global issues and local issues with kids.
Yeah.
And they know that age group from
They
10
know a
to
lot.
13, they know a lot. They're like sponges. And it feels like they even are more kind of onto things now as the world has become more internety. Blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but
Well, I think it's the day-to-day process that really stimulates us. It's not just the end goal of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what's sort of exciting every day.
Mm-hmm.
How we get the information out, and then they come back at us with what they have in their brains, their
I
bodies.
mean, just talking to kids about like just being like, imagine something that you always get way more than you're
They're
asking
ready.
for.
They're
And it's,
so ready.
And in theater,
Yeah.
that works, right? And that's hard because actually a lot of kids don't have that experience in their schooling. You know, they might have like a really creative school or wonderful teachers or those kind of things, but just being able to like, because it's scary. Because it's chaotic sometimes and those kind of things. So, but so I probably could do an entire show with just you two talking about theater.
chaos.
Yeah, and chaos. That's right.
The beauty of
That's
chaos.
right.
Of chaos.
But I want to know about this year's show, which is unfortunately the final show.
No, that's not.
For
It's
you two,
not.
right?
But unfortunately,
Well, we're
but
evolving.
we're evolving. We're
transforming.
What do you call
Okay.
it? Rewiring.
Okay, sure.
To borrow Bearable's expression.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not a funeral.
Okay.
It's a celebration.
Obviously,
And
yeah.
Nobody's retiring.
We chose we're rewiring. See, that's Bearable's thing. But we chose a big, fun, elaborate piece. We're going to explore Arabian Nights. We don't have a title yet.
We're doing an adaptation of the Arabian
Yes,
Nights.
it's like Arabian Nights will be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how much.
Telluride will also be in
It's
there.
got a lot of the story.
Okay.
And then how
a
we
lot of the
dug in there.
stories.
Yes, the
Because
stories.
we can't do 1001
Right.
No.
stories, but
We could
Just
try.
like 998.
We'd
or
have you
something.
do that as a solo.
Oh no. No, thank you.
I'll tell you though, working with kids, you feel like you're in 1001 stories because each kid comes every day with their energy and their story.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's a dance.
So tell
but-
when is it happening?
oh yeah.
It's August
Go
1st,
for it,
2nd,
Kim.
and 3rd at the Palm Theater. On
Okay.
the first two nights are 6 p.m. and the Saturday show is 5:30 p.m.
Because after the Saturday show, instead of having the auction, the fabulous prop auction where you can just get the most beautiful things, at the Palm, it's actually going to be at the Transfer Warehouse. There's going to be
Oh.
a big celebration party there.
Amazing.
So that's going to be cast party and kind of mud butt celebration.
That's great.
So
Well, I hope you guys feel amazing about what you've done here.
we do,
I
and
know
it's emotional. It's
I know, we're not
the
gonna-
evolution.
We're
is
not going to
kind of-
cry.
We're not gonna cry. But to do that, I think for this community is inspiring. Both to like, I mean, you guys even predate the theater that we're in right now, and like, I think it's inspiring to have theater as part of kids' lives. But I think it's moreover, this live place that we live is really ripe for that, and it's amazing that you guys have brought that for so long and so consistently.
Well, it's been great. And,
It has
we were
been
actually
great.
the first theater production that happened in the Palm. The Palm Theater was still being painted. They'd come in, the construction
Oh my
guys would come and
gosh.
say, sorry guys, we need to like seal the stage or whatever. Do you mind working outside today? And we're like, well, it's raining, but okay. And that year we did Alice in Pieces. We did Alice in Wonderland. And that story is so convoluted and trippy anyway that year was just like we were actually in the rabbit hole.
Such a huge stage.
Trying to figure it
But
out.
we've been
did
all
one of
over.
those
We're
too.
at Opera House. We've been at the Nugget.
did
We've been
Alice too?
outside. Oh, you
Yeah.
did Alice that year too?
Oh, up in
No,
the...
not that
oh,
year.
I
But we
saw
did,
it.
we
It was
wrote
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
we wrote our own thing, but
outside.
you always go down the rabbit hole.
You
on that.
can't avoid it.
All right, listen.
There's lots of rabbit holes
Do
everywhere.
we have to wrap it up?
We do have to wrap it up. Unfortunately,
darn. You
But
mean-
please come.
What else do you need to
come
know?
I want you to
Okay.
say one more time. Come and see the untitled the
untitled
work about
exploration of Arabian Nights.
With if you haven't seen the Mudbutts, you have to see.
You gotta come.
You have to see the Mudbutts. And I didn't even ask you why you're called the Mudbutts, but if you see Sally or Kim, please ask them. There's a story behind it, or anybody. Everybody
Oh,
knows
yes.
the mythology in this town.
Yesterday we got muddy butts. but
Very muddy butts.
You can
There
ask
you go.
about that. So it's at the Palm Theater, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Thursday and Friday the shows are at 6. Saturday the show's at 5:30, followed by a celebration.
There you go. Sally Davis, Kim Epifano, the not present Mike Stasek.
Coming
and
in tomorrow.
Yes, and a variety of other people have put this together. Thank you so much, guys, for
It's
being
a
here.
Telluride Academy production, by the way.
Oh, yes, Telluride
So if you have any
Academy.
questions, call them.
And the Telluride Academy. Thanks a lot, guys.
Ciao.
Bye. Stay muddy.
Without community collaborations, Telluride wouldn't be the place that it is today. I want to thank Sally and Kim and Mike and the Mudbutts and the Telluride Academy for collaborating with Telluride TV and so much more. Telluride TV is a public access channel, and we'd like to give a shout out to a few of our most generous supporters, the town of Mountain Village, the town of Telluride, specifically Case, and the Telluride Ski and Golf Company. Now let's actually head over to see another Miners Minute and learn a little bit more about some historical buildings in Telluride.
Hey, this is Teresa at the Telluride Historical Museum with your Miners Minute. Telluride is a special place thanks to its stunning natural surroundings and its old Victorian charm. Did you know that in 1961, town was designated as a National Historic Landmark District? And thanks to historic preservation efforts, much of our old architecture remains today. Just imagine the stories these old buildings can tell. You can come hear some of these stories at our newest annual exhibit titled If These Walls Could Talk, Preservation and Change, and it's open until April 2020. We'd like to give a special thank you to our sponsors Finbro Construction and Shift Architects for creating some amazing interactive components to our exhibit. You can come explore the museum this summer, Mondays through Saturdays, 11 to 5 p.m., with extended hours on Thursdays until 7 and Sundays from 1 to 5. And remember, Thursdays are always free for locals. Thanks, Telluride TV.
We came to Telluride for one reason, and one reason only. Gold. Mining the San Juans was tougher than we could imagine. Remote, steep and rugged. It even drove the strongest to the brink of madness. The lure of gold was strong. Immigrants from Italy, Ireland, Sweden, Finland, and Russia crossed the continent in hopes of striking it rich in Telluride. It wasn't long before the miners needed supplies. When the train came smoking into town, it unloaded beer, fresh oysters, and news from the old country. Telluride lacked for little. We had schools. The mine sponsored baseball teams. We even had our own marching bands. And plenty of leisure time. We had a uniformed volunteer fire department. and all sorts of social clubs and organizations. And many, many picnics and even boxing matches. It was a non-stop celebration. Telluride had its fair share of disasters. If you didn't die from the miners' con or the dreaded flu, there was the big Cornet flood of 1914. And snowslides were a constant threat in winter. Greed got the best of a lot of people. There were mine strikes that resulted in the declaration of martial law. Bank robberies and swindles. With the gold prices fixed and the Depression years wearing on, Telluride dwindled. The thing of it is, Telluride could not be undone. Those early miners, they brought something else to Telluride. And as history proved, things couldn't have gotten any better.
That was a pretty cool retro ride. Now here I am sitting with Mr. Alex Paul. Alex, nice to see you.
Pleasure to see you as well, Colin.
Alex, you are a local musician, and we are going to talk about your brand new album and your brand new band and all those kind of things soon. But I want to first ask you about how did you come to Telluride?
I went to college in Fort Collins and dated a woman the last year and a half or so while I was there who grew up here. And she brought me here the first time was for Thanksgiving, and the second time was for Mountain Film. I was probably 25, 26. And I'd never been down to the San Juans and just fell in love with this place. And that first trip, she took me up to Ophir, and I thought to myself at that moment, I will live here someday.
And you live there.
And I live there.
Which is
took about 10 years, but I live there.
The perfect place for you because you have a troubadour style to your musicianship, and also like if anybody's ever been to Ophir, it's kind of out there, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautifully so.
So I guess I want to ask, when did you start playing music?
My dad bought me a guitar when I was 13. I'd taken some piano lessons as a kid and didn't really take to it. I didn't really jive with the teacher, and I sang in some choruses in elementary school and middle school, and then when I was 13 I asked my dad for a guitar, and he was so excited he put me in the car right then, and we went to a music shop and bought my first guitar.
Do you have musicians in your family?
My sister plays a little bit of piano still. My dad sings in like barbershop quartets and community choruses, and
that's amazing.
He plays mediocre guitar.
Is your dad really excited that you're like a working musician now?
Yeah, he says it's still probably every time that I see him, he says it's the best decision that he ever made was getting me that guitar.
That's so nice.
Yeah, indeed.
So speaking of being a working musician, you played around in Telluride for a while. You wrote original songs. You played with a bunch of different bands and those kind of things. And then you most recently you applied for a Telluride Arts grant.
I did.
Right, which is a really cool grant where they give artists a little bit of money to sort of get started. And
it's
what did
incredible.
you do with that?
I recorded an album. My grant proposal included recording this album. We recorded this amazing studio outside of Fort Collins called Swing Finger Studio, and I got the small art grant and then won the Blues Challenge, and I just had some momentum. And originally the grant proposal for the art grant was a solo album, and when I won the Blues Challenge, it was like, I'm never gonna have this much momentum at one time, and I want to do a band with two of my best friends, and neither one of them live here, but we're making it work.
And so, and I want to actually roll back for a second, because you're saying Blues Challenge, but I think people don't really know one of the 3 major festivals here is Blues and Brews, and they've had a challenge for years, right? And is it like a troubadour competition or blues competition that's in the park, and you go against?
It's a solo blues competition, and it takes place at the Elks Club for the Blues Breakfast every Blues and Brews, and it's a pretty cool gathering. Like, there are people who come year in and year out and get there an hour before doors open to get the table right up in front and really attend to the music. You know, really awesome, attentive audience, and it was a really stacked lineup of musicians, and I had no misgivings about winning it. Like, I did not think that was going to go down, and Tom and Warren from the music store encouraged me to submit. I hadn't even heard of the Blues Challenge, and so this was late June, so I had like a month to write a couple blues songs and record them and get them submitted, and just doing that process was rewarding in and of itself. Like, at that point, I didn't know if I was going to make the finals, because I only bring 6 musicians to Telluride for the finals, and but just going I don't usually write with that much structure and constraints, so I had to write within a genre, within a time frame, and that was just a cool exercise in songwriting. So I really enjoyed that process. Like, I don't really care if I make the finals. Like, that was cool. Now I have these 2 songs that exist that didn't exist before, and then I got an email that I made the finals, and like that was really exciting. And then just to be on that stage with the other musicians present was
and you
it didn't
won.
feel I won. It didn't feel like a competition. It felt like camaraderie. Everyone was like really supportive and excited for one another, and
we were chatting, and you had said this weekend we were chatting, and you had said this was the moment that you decided you were going to try to do the musician thing full time.
Yeah, it was a combination of getting the arts grant from Telluride Arts and then winning that competition. It was like, well, I've got all this support and encouragement. I should just go try and do this.
Which you
have. If not now, yeah.
You made you made a beautiful album.
Thank you.
With a really cool band name called
Birds of Play.
Birds of Play, and the Birds of Play. I mean, I think it's probably a double entendre, right? You're playing musicians, but
it's a prey on birds.
Yeah, that's right. But also, like you were saying, your 2 best friends are in the band, right? And I saw you and one of them perform recently. But you have 3 members in the band, and you're touring everywhere. You're doing lots of.
We're touring a fair amount this summer. Yeah, I leave Monday, and we play Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Washington, fly to Wisconsin, and then we got a little break, and then we do 3 weeks around Colorado and finish at Blues and Brews.
Amazing.
That'll be our last show of the
So
summer.
you're going to be at Blues and Brews. So if we're at Blues and Brews, we could see you. But if we were in the region, we could also see you at the Sherbino, right?
Yeah, we play the Sherbino Theater on Friday, August 30th, I believe it is.
Yeah,
it's the 30th.
I think it's the 30th. Yeah.
We're doing a private house show here in Mountain Village on that Thursday, the 28th. But other than that, it's just the Sherbino and Blues and Brews are the only other 2 shows that we're playing in this region for the rest of the summer.
And you guys will be around. Your
We'll be
friends are
around.
in Durango. You're thinking, you're probably going out on tour again at some point in the future. But if I wanted to find you, where would be the best thing to subscribe to, like a Facebook page or a website or something like that?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Birds of Play Music, both of those, and then our website is birdsofplaymusic.com, and that has some videos and photos and some of the tracks from our album. And our album is out. It will be fully out all over the interwebs in the next couple weeks. We're just kind of finalizing some art.
Cool. Great. So we can find it online. We can find it in Apple Music. We can we can buy it at the shows, and then also soon it's going to be on Spotify, right? So
in the next couple weeks. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Birds of Play.
Birds of Play, and the album is called Anthrophony.
Anthrophony.
Yeah.
What does anthrophony mean?
So there's the geophony. Is all of the sounds of the earth outside of all biological life. So volcanoes and thunderstorms and rivers. and earthquakes and the like. And then biophony is all of the sounds of the earth, of biological life outside of human sounds. And then anthrophony is all the human sounds of the earth.
You guys and your smart
Bird
people words.
nerds.
Bird nerds. You guys, Alex Paul, the Birds of Play, you can find him online and everywhere, but we have a special treat for you. When we come back, Alex is actually going to do some live in-studio stuff for us. So thanks a lot for being here. And thanks.
Pleasure. Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll be back in just a second.
So this is a song inspired by this region here. I was chatting with a friend a few months back, and she brought to my attention the story of this man named Juan Rivera, a Spanish explorer from the 1780s who came up from Santa Fe into Durango and up into the San Juan Mountains, and he dubbed them Las Sierras de las Grullas, or the mountains of the sandhill cranes. And my friend thought it would be a good song subject, and so this is what I wrote, called Sandhill Cranes. Waking with the songbirds, the sun she rises slow, and I'm heading off somewhere in these hills I've come to know. My feet carry me swiftly as snow melt in a stream, and I can't help but wonder, this life is but a dream. I was born a child of the plains. That's where my family remains. Where my spirit flies with the mountains of the sandhill cranes. I've been taken high, and I've been laid down low, filled with reverence and wonder, as the alpine starts to glow, and I'm howling with the moonlight, and there's a crispness on the breeze, the fire warms my bones sweetly, sets my mind at ease. I was born a child of the plains. That's where my family remains. Where my spirit flies with the mountains of the sandhill cranes. Hidden valleys filled with flowers thick as thieves, golden embers as the aspens shed their leaves, frozen hillsides are blankets of white. The spring returns the light. I'm drifting off toward slumber. I lie embowered by the pines, that starlight soothing as a soft kiss, horizon offers up her line. I was born a child of the plains. That's where my family remains. My spirit flies with the mountains of the sandhill cranes. The mountains of the sandhill cranes.
Catch Alex Paul and his Birds of Play all over the place, but specifically at Blues and Brews, at this upcoming Blues and Brews. And also, he's going to be in the Sherbino on August 30th there. So if you want to see him, absolutely go online and check out his album and everything like that.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. He's amazing.
Well, Almost Live
Is almost over.
But if you missed part of the show, never fear. It airs morning, noon, and night on Channel 1304 in Telluride and Channel 12 in Mountain Village.
And you can catch all of Telluride TV's daily programming as well as our archived video content on TellurideTV.org or on social media.
Later. See you next week. So now we have to banter.
I forgot to say
It's
tag.
Yeah, but
Our
that's
social
okay.
media tag.
The at Telluride TV
At
tag?
Telluride TV.
That's okay. They don't need it.